Hey guys, Jane here, and I want to talk to you today about The Fiction Formula. The Fiction Formula is a book that was written by the same authors who wrote Write, Publish, Repeat. I call them Sterling and Stone because that is the label that is on their podcast. I also follow these guys on their podcast. I'm a huge fan. Write, Publish, Repeat was one of the most influential books on writing I had ever read when I started my writing journey. This one I did receive as an ARC, and I read it. It was a little bit of a slower read for me than Write, Publish, Repeat was, but I did overall very much enjoy it. I am giving it a rating of a 5 out of 5. However, for me personally, it was a little bit closer to a 4.5 out of 5. I was going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 or a 4 out of 5. I was kind of on that verge, but I kept feeling like I want to give this book to everybody I know who's a writer. Like, I wish I could afford to purchase the paperback copy for everybody in my writers group. Like, I want to preach about how wonderful this book is for newer writers. This book is an amazing, amazing book. Write, Publish, Repeat is much more on marketing, and The Fiction Formula is much more on writing. And I think my biggest issue with the book was just that I'm a little further in my journey than I think the book is meant to be. So a lot of the early book talks about things like making sure you're writing in a genre that suits you. It talks about how to plotting versus pantsing, the different levels, encouraging people who maybe plot extreme to pants a little, and pants extreme to plot a little. It talks about a thing called story beats. There's things on cover design. There's things about marketing. There's things about releases and launches, and just so many topics. This book is packed full of information. And for the books that I have read on self-publishing particularly, and getting your start, I don't think I've read a more comprehensive book. This book was absolutely amazing. Like I said, I want to give it to everybody in my writers group. I did love it that much. However, because of where I am in my writer's journey, I did feel like a lot of the information in it was stuff that I already knew, and a lot of it I was intuitively doing. One thing they talk about, for instance, is drawing maps of your places, whether they're your cities or your characters' houses, and that's something I already do. I don't know when I figured out that was a good idea, but I have been doing it for a while. Just a lot of things in it were things that really rang true. I was like, yes, that is brilliant, but I'm already doing so much of it. There was a section later in the book that really hit home for me, and that was very much like my 5-star part of the book, and that had to do with having a writing career that you keep fresh with your backlist and things you can do with your backlist, and not necessarily just focusing on getting books out, because sometimes getting books out all the time is not possible. In 2019, I only released one book. So that has been a little bit rough. So figuring out some stuff I can do to maybe help my backlist until I can get another book out, that was really for me. But this book is just, it is amazing. It is definitely a 5-star read. It just, so much of it I already had implemented. And maybe part of it too is I've been listening to Sterling and Stone's podcast. I have been following these guys. They are brilliant. They are amazing. I am a huge super fan of theirs. And maybe some of the stuff I learned already, and that's why it felt a little bit repetitive. Not repetitive from they say it over and over again, but repetitive in, okay, but I was already doing that. And so this is not a lot of super new information for me, who am 15 books into, like, novels into my writing career. I already understand that having a writing routine is important. I already am comfortable with where I am on the plotting pantsing scale. A lot of things I already have set up. I understand how not to procrastinate. I understand how to deal with writer's block. So this book, I think, is perfect for somebody who is newer to the self-publishing, who knows they want to self-publish, who's working towards that goal, maybe has one book out, maybe two, maybe is early even writing their book, but knows that's something they want to do, and they're learning how to be a writer. This book is so good. I want to give it to everybody I know at the early part of their writing journey. If you have a ton of books out already, this book might be worth reading for some of the later content about like how to keep your backlist fresh. But I'm not sure you'll get as many like mind-blowing things. With Write, Publish, Repeat, which was the book that this is a companion to, it was just mind-blowing. Like that whole book was just, I loved it. It is Write, Publish, Repeat is my absolute favorite book about writing, and it's more about marketing than actually writing. They don't talk about process, and this is kind of where they went back and talked about process. And I liked it. It was very good. It was well done. And like I said, I want to give this to everybody who I think needs it. But for me personally, there was less amazing information because of where I am in my writing career than it would have been if I was 3 books in. So just be aware of who you are and whether you are the intended audience. If you are starting your writer's journey, if you're kind of new on the writer's journey, like under 5 books, 3 to 5 books published, this book is a must read. This book is amazing. It will probably be very life-changing for you. If you already know where you sit on the plotting pantsing scale, if you already have a cover designer, if you already have an editor that works for you, if you already understand how writer's block works, how to get unblocked, have processes, are good with button share, have a writing routine. If you're already doing all the stuff to produce books, there's going to be less new information for you. There's still going to be some. There's still going to be a few mind blow minutes, but it's not going to be like Write, Publish, Repeat was for me, where it's like every page was just like mind blow. I understood so much more about marketing after reading Write, Publish, Repeat than I think I ever could have otherwise. And I recommend it to every writer, no matter if you're at book 5 or book 25 or 125 even. Although if you're at 125, you probably pretty much know what you're doing too. So this book is amazing, just maybe a little bit more for the people closer to the beginning of their writing career. But I still highly recommend it. And like I said, this is an amazing book. Every new writer should have it. And if you have a writer in your life, get them this book because they need it. All right, guys, this is Jane. My social media is below. Please remember to like, subscribe for more content. If you would like to check out the books that I do write, you will see a partial list of my books that are on Amazon and Smashwords below. I will talk to you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.